What's up guys, Max here and welcome back to my dungeon. Today I'm going to do something a bit unusual for this channel, so I'm taking a break from a stream overclocking to do something that is like month that I want to try, playing World of Warcraft with my studio editing rig, so this Apple Mac Mini equipped with the chip M1 from Apple. And well, for productivity, so video editing, photo editing, Photoshop, these kind of things, this is really fast. I can edit 4K footage like real time. So this chip is really outstanding since it's like 15 watts and is faster than a Ryzen 9 5950X. So for productivity application stuff like that is like unbeatable, and it's 15 watts and is completely fanless, so another pro. But I was curious about the performance in game like World of Warcraft that is very heavy on the CPU, and well, a GPU in this case, since is like an APU. But it turns out that it's doing pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is play a bit World of Warcraft, a bit of well, daily quest and some BG, and see how far we can push this in resolution and in details. Okay, so let's start with the base settings. I have a 4K display, but now I'm running at 1080p with, well, this is 10, but it's custom, so I'm using the recommended settings, which is low or disabled in this part here. Here I want to keep it at high and also quality 10, since the CPU of this small thing is really powerful. What is bottlenecking now is the GPU. So for now, I want to keep it as recommended and see how well it behaves. And then I will try to push a bit something that doesn't impact much. In this case, Shadow and Liquid is like the best FPS killer, because if I turn this to Ultra, okay, the quality will be better, but as you can see, it's like killing my FPS completely. So we can sacrifice the visual quality to have a normal FPS. Okay, so 80 FPS here. It is one of the worst zone for the GPU, and here we have like 100 FPS. So the CPU is pushing FPS, which is something really great. And if I want to, I can even push to 1440p. That is the resolution that I like to play with this display. But not that I use this rig to play, but anyway, I use this rig as main editing studio PC. But if I want, I can play World of Warcraft 2, and it's pretty interesting. So I'm having like 60 FPS in Ardenweald at 1440p. Okay, details low, but still is impressive. Try to do this with an Intel integrated GPU and let me know. Uh, it's not going well. So now I'm going to Oribos and see what is doing the CPU there, since Oribos is really taxing on the CPU. Alright, so far so good. We are around 60 FPS, 55, sometimes 90. I mean, it's not overcrowded tonight, but still having 60 FPS in 1440p. Okay, details low, but again, this is not meant to be an high-end World of Warcraft PC. We are talking about 15 watts. I mean, it's maybe neither the fan on a gaming PC is like 15 watts. And well, I think it's behaving pretty nicely, considering that I have all this pushed. Um, I can try to push a bit other settings. So here the impact is minimum because the sun shaft is more outside, and it, we are really CPU limited anyway. So you can push a bit something, but well, sometimes if you push too much some settings, you will have issue when you enter in combat. So as you can see, I can push something a bit high, at least in this case. So I'm keeping 60 FPS. The problem is the shadows and liquid. So if I push the shadow to to high, for example, it doesn't really change a lot the visual, but I lose like 20 FPS. Um, I can do so with good, no big difference, neither in quality or in FPS. I can push to fair, again, no big deal, but still no improvement here. So the only way is to turn it to low, and I will lose more, but I will gain 60 FPS. So you have to take compromise. Liquid as well. I think, well, maybe not in this side, but if we go outside, this will really kill your FPS. So this is something that I can try to go out and take some mobs and do some spell. But first, I want to try a Battleground with the recommended settings. So, well, basically everything turned off here to see at least what is the best case scenario. And maybe I can try to push this one lower, but I want to try like this. So the load on the GPU very light and more on CPU. So viewing distance is more on CPU. Ground clutter as well. Um, well, let's see. Okay, so let's try a bit in the mall. Now everything is a bit low on graphics detail, but well, 80 FPS. So I guess we can play a bit with the settings and raise it a bit. I think we have plenty of room to stay at least at 60 FPS. I don't touch Shadow and Liquid, so that I know that are CPU killer and GPU killer, sorry, and I'm 1440p. So let's try to put it on good, just not to exaggerate too much. Let this got on eye. Okay, so we lost 10 to 15 FPS. And let's engage. Sixty FPS, 70, pretty nice. I mean, I should just try to go in a big fight to see, because now we don't have much spells. I mean, the visual quality is decent. At the end, you get used to. So around 70 FPS. Pretty nice. Let's try to push a bit. Okay. Look, if I push it on ultra, I go too low. So this is liquid and shadow is something that really shouldn't be pushed too much. Now I'm 50 FPS, so maybe going ultra was not a good choice. Okay, so particle density is pretty taxing. Let's try high. Okay, let's keep it on good. Not bad. So again, we are stable at 77. I really hope that we go in the BG soon. I don't want to spend all night roaming here alone without no spell and nothing to test. So I can try to pull everything. And who care if I die, right? Okay. BG, you're lucky. Wintergrasp. I hate this BG. But at least we have some battles, so at least it's not that there's only big battle at the beginning, like the one that I like it, that I can't remember the name right now. Anyway, I mean 90 FPS is pretty decent, considering that I mean I'm at 1440p, everything on high here, and again, I mean, it doesn't make sense to use this. See, like I have 50% of FPS. Too bad. So this is like the forbidden choice for the low end APU or CPU or GPU. So everything on high except quality and liquid details. Let's try like this. Well, this is on good. If I push on ultra, yeah, not big impact. Okay, let's try like this. So everything maxed out, okay, except liquid and shadow. Okay, let's try to play like this. Probably with the first big fight I will explode, but who cares. Next big fight I will try to lower a bit some settings and see what happens. Alright, time of the truth. Let's cast some spell. And who cares if I die? So 30 FPS, so probably I exaggerated a bit. Okay, I was looking for that. So, let's hope that this battle will continue a bit and get to good. Okay, no big impact. Good. Okay, let's head into the battle. 40, 30. I don't see it very good as settings. So let's lower it a bit to fair or low. Okay, no, not fine. Yeah, better. Oh yes, I think with the right settings it's playable. Sacrifice, I have to sacrifice the visual quality, but I can definitely play even in a BG. So now I'm to enter again the battle at with everything here low or disabled. Okay. Yeah, this particle effect usually change like something like this. As you can see, the fire here. So I will keep it on fair, and let's try to hit some major fight to see if with the recommended settings is playable or not. And okay, you have to play with lower details, but I mean, if you only have something like this, it's fine. I mean, I'm still at 80%, 80 FPS. Now, wanna see something interesting? I'm still playing World of Warcraft. Oribos, 80 FPS, around, let's say 55, 60 if I watch this way. This is not something that is interesting, but is this. So I'm playing World of Warcraft and I'm editing this video. So I've started editing this video. Look at this. I'm using better quality, no proxy. Everything is 4K. I'm using ProRes for 202. And well, look at that. I think it's pretty impressive. And I see it's like real time. I can do whatever I want, and I'm still gaming and editing at the same time. So this chip is really powerful. And if you watch the stats here, I'm not using the full capability of the CPU and the GPU. So it's really, really impressive on my side. All right. So honestly, I have to say that I'm impressed. I'm more impressed by this small device, fanless and with 15 watts at under load, than a full-sized gaming rig overclocked. Because I was able to edit a 4K video in the meantime that I was playing World of Warcraft, and without losing any FPS. Because I try without editing, of course, in the first part of the video and in the last part while editing, but still and I didn't lose any FPS. So I think that Apple put a lot of pressure on Intel and AMD, because maybe the next generation of this, if they make a bigger chip, maybe they can replicate a full-sized GPU. And what else? So really, I hope that this different type of content at least gave you some interesting information and well, some fun. Why not? And well, let me know in the comment section what you think about that. If you are thinking to buy one, if you want one to do some creativity work, and in the meantime do some games like World of Warcraft or some indie games, because with this you can do pretty much a bit of everything. Okay, it's not again made for gaming, but it can game like a good APU. And well, like the video if you like it, subscribe, and see you in the next one.